Hi guys, how are we? Happy Friday. Welcome to Friday afternoon. Thank you very much for having me on the Cake Stuff page again. It's always really lovely to be here with you guys. I have set up, I've got an extra phone with me today. I've just whipped my daughter's phone off her. So I have got that with me so I can see any messages. I can see who's here and I can see any messages. Let's have a look. Oh, it's just telling me that, oh, I need to turn the sound down. Doesn't matter how many times I do this, does it? Anyway, what we're going to do today, I don't know if you saw the title, that we're going to be doing sharp edges and mindful caking. It's a bit of a crazy time at the moment, isn't it? I don't know how things are starting to feel now for everybody. Things are starting to get back to normal. Certainly in England anyway, things are all unlocking and it's looking like tomorrow that you can pretty much go anywhere and do anything as long as you don't hug anybody. That's still the really difficult thing. But so sometimes you can feel like everything's getting back to normal and it really isn't. So it's quite nice to just take yourself off and do something that's a little bit mindful, a little bit calming and just a little bit relaxing, just so you can ground yourself and almost feel like things are actually okay. Right now, everything is okay. So I really love doing the mindful colouring in. I never actually managed to finish a picture, but I really like starting them and I really like getting all the colours right, and I just find it really relaxing. So I had the idea that it'd be quite fun to do it on a cake. So I'll show you the picture of that in a moment. But what I did, I just did a little bit of freestyle drawing on the cake, just having some fun. I don't know if anybody saw my unpacking video the other day. I have a video on my Angel's Kitchen page. Let me just bring that up so you can see who I am and where you can find me. So on my Angel's Kitchen page last week I had an unpacking video where I had 3 different cake stuff boxes that had arrived, and I thought, I know, I'll just unpack them live on screen. It had only been 2 days, but I'd totally forgotten what I'd ordered. Some of the things were lovely surprises, and I ordered a set of the fractal pens. So I thought I'd have a go with those today, do the drawing, do some colouring in. I'll show you a few little tips and tricks for using them. There is a fabulous giveaway as well today that Cake Stuff have very kindly agreed to give away a 2.5 kilo pack of my favourite couture sugar paste, and also 5 fractal pens of your choice. So that is a really fabulous competition. I will keep mentioning it, and I'm hoping that Cameron might write it in the comments as well. I keep dropping them on the floor. Just dropped one. Just so people that arrive a bit later can also see what the competition is to take part. So the question is, I have them all clutched in my hand, but what I need you to tell me in the comments is how many colours are there in the full fractal pen range. So if you have a look, count them up, how many there are in the range, write it down in the comments, and then at the end of my live, once I've finished, I will have, just dropped another one. I will have a look through the comments and I will pick a winner. I will put it through a random number generator, pick a winner, and you will get to go to Cake Stuff and choose your 5 free colours, and you will also get some couture sugar paste, which is very exciting. There we go. So don't forget, you need to count them up and you need to put it in the comments. So just have a look who's here. I'll just say a few hellos. Hi Terry, hi Kerry, hi Carol. Hi Harriet and Yvonne, Shahani, another Harriet, Caroline. Hi Caroline, you were on my page the other day, weren't you, having a chat with my mum? You both live down the road from each other. Hi Emma, nice to see you. Hi Gisela. It's so lovely. I just feel like I'm in a room full of people. It's so lovely doing these lives. Right, I'm going to pick up the pen that I've dropped again. Good job nobody's eating this, isn't it? And then I will crack on and I'll show you what I'm doing. Now, because I have done my design on a round cake, I thought that I would take the time at the beginning just to show you one of the techniques I use to get these lovely sharp edges on cakes. I do have a beginner's course coming up actually starting next week, and one of the things we do cover is how to get the beautiful sharp edges. So in that course I'll be showing lots of different methods of how to do it. But today I just thought I'd show you one of the quick and easy methods just to get those sharp edges on your cakes. So we will crack on and we will do that first. Hi Cheryl, nice to see you. I'm hoping I didn't miss you earlier. I'm hoping you changed your mind and you're going to do your live later. Right, so I'm going to change the camera screen over and just show you what I've got here. So there's the cake that we're going to replicate, something like that. There we go. Cameron has just written down the competition for you. So don't forget the competition. You need to let me know how many colours there are in the fractal pen range. So lots of other people are writing a number. You can either just chance it and just copy their number, or you can actually have a little count up and see what you think. And at the end of my live, I will go through all of them and I will pick a winner. Right, so what I have here, I have my couture sugar paste, and I don't have a cake to cover. I actually have, it's not a very new one either, but I have a 6-inch dummy cake. So it's 6 inches round and it's 4 inches tall. So it's a typical tier size that you would be covering. Now, I'm just going to put myself in the corner as well so I can talk to you. When I am in full wedding cake season, I can take my block of couture and I can take my lovely pink knife. I wonder if they're back in stock yet. And I can just slice, and I know pretty much how much couture icing I need to cover my tier. But I haven't covered a wedding cake tier since the end of March, no, middle of March. So please forgive me if I've taken too much off. I've guesstimated, because I've given it a little knead already. So I've guesstimated from my other pack and I've given it a good knead. So I probably have got a little bit too much here, but it's better to have too much than too little. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to move my painted cake out of the way as well. And just, oh, and I need to show you something as well. This is my lovely new toy that I got just at the beginning of lockdown. Has anybody got one of these? The Kingpin Rolling Pin. It is absolutely beautiful. You know when you think about something that you really want to buy and you think, oh, I don't know if I can justify the price. Honestly, this is a game changer. Absolutely love it. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Cameron, I think it comes in a kit at the moment. I think you get a lovely rolling mat with it as well when you buy it. But I will show you how amazing it is. It is heavy. It is really heavy. Could do my workout with this actually. But it's just a bit of a game changer. I will show you. But that is lovely. The Kingpin Rolling Pin. Highly recommended. Right, so I have my couture paste here. I wrapped it in cling film. I needed it earlier and I wrapped it in cling film just so it didn't form any crusts. There we go. So I'm just, yeah, that's a good idea, Terry. Make some sugar pearls with leftovers. I tend to wrap it up in cling film and put it in all sorts of different moulds and all sorts of things just to use it all up. See, oh, there's different numbers coming up now. Timmy says 13. Yvonne says 12. Oh my gosh, how many colours are there in the fractal range? I have my pens here. There we go. You can see, but do I have all of them here? That is the question. Before I ordered the whole range, I just had the black and the brown and the white, and I was using them in my figure making. I was using them for eyebrows, eyelashes, and then to put the little shiny dots in the eyes as well. But oh my gosh, they are beautiful. And when you see what you can do with them as well, and I found out a little trick with them as well, quite by accident, which I will share with you when we get to that. So I've kneaded here my couture paste, and you see I'm kneading it always into the centre, like that. So I pull it in and squash it down into the centre. And then what I do, because I've got all these little creases and cracks here, I'm just smoothing those over a little bit because I want to avoid giving the sugar paste any bits that are weaker. So when I drape it over my, it's going to be a dummy here, but when I drape it over my cake, I don't want there to be any places where it's a bit weaker and it can crack. So that's ready. Then turn that over, ready to roll out. I should have done this before, but I'm just quickly going to put a layer of Trex. Just got some Trex, you can use Crisco or Trex. Just going to put a layer of that onto my dummy just so it sticks. If this is a ganached cake or a buttercreamed cake, what I would tend to do is take a big brush and just brush it with a layer of water. Just a little bit of water. You just want the sugar paste to stick. Because where it sticks, there's not going to be any air bubbles. There we go. Oh, that noise is horrible, isn't it? Sorry about that. Oh, I just see that Cake Stuff have just put up a link for the Kingpin, so you can have a look at that. Not that I've used it yet. You wait till I use it. There we go. Right, so I've got a bit of the Trex on my hand, so I'm just going to knead that into my icing. Everything, just soften it up a little bit. And it's always nice to put some Trex into your icing. You don't need to, so just get rid of those creases and cracks again on the underside. Flip it over. There we go. Now I would be limbering up and getting my mussels ready if I didn't have my lovely Kingpin. But what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of corn flour onto my surface, a little bit of corn flour onto my cake, a little bit onto my Kingpin, and then I'm just going to have a little leisurely forward and backward movement. I'm hardly putting any pressure on that at all, and can you see how easily that's rolling out? So it's rolling out so quickly that I need to turn it round because I want to keep it circular. So I'm just doing a little forward and backward, and because it rolls as well, because the rolling pin rolls round on the inside like that, see, it rolls round, you don't have to do any of the leaning forward and putting your arms on your rolling pin. You literally just push forward and backward like that. And you just turn it round again. And because it's nice and heavy, you get a nice even thickness all the way across. Michelle, don't worry, your internet's playing up. We have a competition running, Michelle. What you need to do is you need to tell me how many colours there are in the fractal pen range. And for that you can win 2.5 kilos of couture sugar paste and 5 of the fractal pens, your choice of colours. So it's a very nice competition. Just having a look. Oh, Barbara, thank you. Barbara's just popped on to wish me well, and she's going to watch later. That's very kind. There we go. So I've rolled that out. If you have a look, let's just move that out of the way. You definitely don't want to put it at the front of your board. You do not want that falling on your feet. So let's just have a look. Right, so that's plenty. If you have a look at the size of that, and I put it down the size, that's pretty much the size I need it. Now, usually I would put my rolling pin on there and fold it back over my rolling pin, but this one's a little bit heavy, so I'm going to just use my hands, and I've literally just flopped that over the top of my dummy. Let me just move myself out of the way for a moment. There we go, so you can see full screen. Right, so I've stuck that down on the top. Now what I'm going to do is just use my hand just to make sure that is stuck down everywhere. And then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry too much about this top edge for now. I just want to make sure that the icing is stuck to the cake. So I'm going down, if you have a look, I'm going down about an inch down the cake and just pushing in, almost karate chopping in like that, just to make sure. You see I've got a little crack there where there's a little bubble. You can just rub that out with your finger. That will go in a moment, but you can just give that a little bit of encouragement. Just rub it away with your finger. So about an inch down all the way around. So now we have like a nice little floaty skirt coming out. And what I'm going to do is hold out the floaty skirt and then push in and go down and just rub upwards. So I'm putting pressure on to rub up. There we go, go down a bit, pull the skirt out and just rub up. There we go. Oh, just having a look, people talking about the colours. There's still a few guesses coming in. Michelle says she guesses 13. Think of the fun she could have drawing on cupcakes as well as piping. Oh my gosh, there is so much fun to be had. There we go. See what I'm doing? I'm just going round, and as I go round, I'm pulling out the skirt and just pushing on. It's a little bit light because it's a dummy, so it does want to fly across my table. But you just keep doing it, and I'm doing it away from me as well, just so you can see what I'm doing. Well, there you go, Cameron, there's a question for you. Somebody asking if you could ship abroad. I don't know if you can right now because of coronavirus. I don't know if that's allowed or if that restriction is lifting. I'm not quite sure. So I'm going all the way around, and see when I hit the bottom, you move it so you can see, I'm actually hitting down with the side of my hand here on the bottom. Just going all the way around. And what I'm doing is making sure that the icing is stuck to the cake. So as well as going down, I'm pushing onto the cake, and I'm still haven't done anything with this top edge at all. So I'm just pushing all the way around. This icing is quite thick. You can have the icing as thin as you like, but this is quite thick. There you go, so I'm going all the way around. And now I'm going to get my smoother, and I'm just going to use the rounded edge at the bottom and just push that onto the cake everywhere and push it down. You see that, to make a little indent down the bottom. Like that, there we go. So I'm just pushing it into the cake, so I'm pushing it this way and also down. And this is just to make sure that my icing is stuck all the way to the bottom, all the way round the cake. There we go. So that's all stuck on now all the way round. I'm going to take my pink knife, and I'm not going to worry about going too close to the cake right now. I just want to cut somewhere in that indent down the bottom. There we go. Just get rid of the excess. There we go. See, there is quite a lot. There wouldn't normally be that much, and I'd usually roll it a bit thinner as well. So my guesstimations aren't so good right now. I need to get back into the swing of wedding cakes. And then what I want to do is place a piece of baking parchment over the top. Place a cake board. This is one of the ganaching plates, but place a cake board over the top, and then using the baking parchment, pull your cake to the front of your table, put your hand underneath and flip it over. Okay? And then what you can do with your smoother is you can just smooth up like this. So just keep pushing up. So you know that all the way around this, which will be the bottom edge of your cake, so you would see your cake board in here rather than a polystyrene bottom, you know that that's all stuck, and then when we finished and we slice it off, we'll have a really nice neat bottom. Now you can use one of these smoothers just to keep smoothing around, and the idea is that if you have a look, that gap, let me just move the parchment like that, so there is a gap between the curved edge and the bottom. We want to absolutely fill that gap, so you can either use this edge of your smoother, this edge of your smoother, and just go round like this. So let me just lift that up and show you the gap. There we go. So where I've started to smooth, you see that gap's closed, and then further round where the cake curves up, you've got more of a gap. There is also this lovely tool on the Cake Stuff page, which I'm sure Cameron will put the link to, which is called a Smudger, which has a lovely sharp edge, so it does the edges and it also does the smoothing. So you can go round with that as well, and what you want to do is push into the cake as you're smoothing, and the idea is that you close up that gap at the bottom. Let's have a look. There you go. So we want to have no gap at all around the bottom of the cake. So I'm just going to go all the way around, and you can obviously spend a lot longer than I'm going to doing this, because the more time you spend, the more perfect your finish will be on your tier, and the more perfect that your top edge will be. So I'm just going to go round. I don't think you want to watch me keep doing this all the time, so I'll just do a little bit and I'll show you by flipping over what the finish is like. So I'm just going backwards and forwards. You want to be careful not to put too much downward pressure from this hand, because it's fine if it's a dummy, but imagine if it's an actual cake. You don't want to be pushing down too hard. So your finish is very important on your cake underneath as well. It's another thing we cover in the course next week. Actually, we do a ganaching day. Having a good foundation to your cake is very important to getting a really good finish. Just have a look. There we go. Rasika was asking me what the smoother is, and then I was just about to answer, and I looked underneath and Cake Stuff have posted a link. There you go. Right. So what I'm going to do, I think, so we can get on to the actual mindful part, I will show you the difference. So what I'm going to do is, once you've gone all the way around and you've got your edge, I'll just show you, you've got your edge so it's flat with the bottom, so there's no gap. So just give it a really good rub, pushing in with your smoother. And if you don't have this one, you can do the same job with your white one, but it's not quite so easy to keep it at a right angle. The nice thing about this is, you know that if you're pushing that down onto the table, you're going to have a nice right angle on your cake. So once you've done that all the way around, just use your knife to go round, keeping this edge nice and flush. So what I'm doing is just pushing into the middle all the time, like this. I think this is the only knife I can use now for my lives. I have all sorts of knives, but the pink one is definitely my favourite. There we go, so that's gone in all the way round. And then what you can do is take another one of these. This is another ganache plate, this one's still got its acetate on it. And then pulling your other one forward, you can flip your cake over and you'll be able to see the difference now of the bits. So if you have a look here, you can see this curved edge here that I haven't done. And then if you look around here, you can see the sharp edge. There you go, you can see the sharp edge where I have used that smoother, and that has come down to the bottom. And if you still want to improve on that, you can use your smoothers one against each other. So it's one of those things that you can keep going as much as you want to get that edge razor sharp. Just pushing one smoother against the other, and you just keep going and you get the absolute razor sharp edge on your cake. So I'm going to put that to one side because you wouldn't want to be drawing straight onto a cake that you have only just covered, because your pens would be going into the icing. So I'll just move that over here. I will bring myself back onto the screen so you can see me. Hi. And what I have done, I actually rolled some couture out onto one of my cake drums just so I can do the drawing on here so you can see. And I only did it a couple of hours ago, and ideally it should have been left overnight to dry. So I actually put it in my oven at 50 degrees. Now putting it in the oven at 50 degrees makes it all go really soft, and then you take it out and it firms up really nicely. So you end up with a really nice firm finish. But obviously you wouldn't want to put your cakes back in the oven with the icing on, but it works really nice. It's a nice little hack for the board. I'm just going to grab my chair, because if we're going to do some nice mindful colouring in, I'm going to sit down. There we go. Right, so my design, just have a look. I have a question here. Sometimes my paste is sticky when I put it, and the smoother gets sticky. Right, if you have a little bag with some corn flour in, so this is just a little, I think it was a little flannel or something, and I put some corn flour in and tied a ribbon round, and you can just put the corn flour onto your smoother like that, and then you can just put some around the side of your cake as well. So the two lots of corn flour will actually be quite abrasive next to each other as well, and it will just help you smooth that cake a little bit more without it being too sticky. Oh, hi Charlotte. Charlotte says, after meeting Kerry and being introduced to couture, I'd never use anything else. Oh, good girl. I love couture paste. I love the way it smells. I love that you can walk into a room where there's a cake and you can smell the couture icing. I love that. Right, so what I have here, I have my range of pens. Has anyone been counting my range? How many have I got? Oh, I can see how many I've got. You can count those. I'll stop moving them around so you can count them. I will pick afterwards. I will pick. Right, now what I've done for my design, I've just taken some really simple shapes because I know a lot of people are not confident with just doing freehand drawing. So I've taken some shapes that are all really, really simple. And I've just written, eat the cake. I saw a lovely quote. It just said, life's too short, eat the cake. So I thought I'll just put eat the cake on here. So I just freehand wrote it. So if you're not happy freehand writing, you can use some embossers and you can emboss your writing, and then you can use your pens to go around it. So I'm going to start by doing the writing in the middle of my cake. So I'm just going to use my pen. You see those lovely tips they've got on them, really nice tips. And something I found out quite by accident, I actually was cleaning the end of one of my tips and I accidentally pulled it out. Now these are double-ended tips, so if I just gonna get it all over my fingers, if you pull it out, you can see if you mess up one of the ends, you can just take your tip out. I've got it on my fingers now. Take your tip out and you can turn it round so they last even longer. I did not know that. I just think that's fabulous, because I was saying to somebody the other day, or maybe have two blacks, have one for drawing and one for colouring in, but you don't need to, because you can just flip your tip round and you can do both things. Right, so I'm going to start with my writing. So I'm going to just put it in the middle roughly. I'm just going to write. You see, you can just write with them like they're felt pens, and you can go over. So just do my E. If you're not comfortable freehand writing, there we go. Let's go over that. Oh, this icing is a little bit soft. You see the ink started flowing now. It's because I took the top off. It was a bit, I was saying, what's going on? And then to cake, I just did some simple outlining of my letters. Took me back to being like 15 at school, when I would write all over all of my, not that I wrote all over my books, and I would not condone that, but when I might have written all over my books at school. Bubble writing was a real thing. There we go. Oops, just went into the icing there. I'm going to make a nice dent on this side as well. I really like the hand-drawn element of this as well. It's all about just making some simple shapes. So some of the simple shapes I had was like doing a daisy shape. So do a centre of your daisy with a few of the dots in, and then just go round doing some petals. And you could give this cake to somebody. You could do it on cookies, you could do it on cakes, and you could actually give it to somebody with the pens and tell them that they could actually, part of their thing would be that they get to colour it in. Or you could do it for one of your children. So I'm just doing, see, very, very simple shapes. There are people that are way more artistic than me. And you see, if you have a look at the mindfulness colouring in, some of them are really intricate and some of them are just the simple shapes. So, it really doesn't matter what you do. And then if you have some gaps, you can do things like, oh, my hand's shaking now, you can do little love hearts, which are nice and easy to draw. You can do little lavender shapes. Just lots of, so I can see it, I feel nice and relaxed already. I think this would look lovely on some cookies as well, if you wanted to ice some cookies. Not much of a gap in there, but that's okay. And then we'll have something that's a bit more like one of the lovely echinacea flowers, where they have the petals all underneath. And I'm putting the stems in as well, just so we can colour the stems in as well. Let's have a look. Let's have some seed heads. You really can get carried away and just do lots of loveliness. Let's have a look. Let's do another little heart down here. And if you're doing it on a cake, it's quite nice if you do one where you maybe do your petal, your stem, and have it going off the side of the cake and have it going down onto the side. Let's just do some more of these. I'm rushing mine a little bit, but obviously you can spend a lot longer. And you can Google as well. If you Google something like plant shapes or something like that, or plant outlines, you'll always find pictures that you can be inspired by. There you go, another one of those on the side. And I always think once you start adding the colour as well, it always looks completely different. But I just wanted to show you that it can be really effective even if you're just doing really simple shapes. It actually looks quite nice like this. Let's see, what else can we do? Let's have maybe a 4-leaf clover. See, that was just 4 hearts to make a 4-leaf clover. My hands are shaking. Don't know why. part down there. And you just want to fill in your gaps. Let's see what we can put. I don't want to smudge it. It will dry very quickly, but I don't want to smudge it. Let's see if we can put one of these up here, and then we'll start painting them. I started with them just colouring in, and then I thought, oh, I wonder what would happen if you treated them like, do you remember the watercolour pencils where you could use the water to blend the colour? And they work brilliantly, really, really well, which is really nice. Let's put some more leaves up here. How are we getting on with our guesses? Has anyone joined us that doesn't know about the competition? Let's have a look. The competition, guys, what you need to do, I've just seen lots of people are putting the number, what you need to do, or putting numbers. What you need, oh my gosh, there's so many comments. What you need to do, guys, is just write down how many colours that the fractal pens come in, and Cake Stuff will be giving away 5 of the colours. You can choose which colours you like. They're absolutely gorgeous colours, things like rose, sky blue, orange, I love this one, turquoise, I love this one as well, eggplant, aubergine. It's got to be aubergine, hasn't it? White, oh, I don't know why I needed to look at that, that's white. Leaf green, royal blue, lemon yellow, beautiful, beautiful colours. It's a shame they're not like the scented pens we had at school. That would be cool, wouldn't it, if they were scented? That would be really cool. Maybe that's something to put to Fractal. Please can you make your pens scented? Like the scented rubbers as well that we had at school. Right, I think I've done enough. I obviously would, if it was a cake, I would fill it in everywhere. Let's just do one more leaf on here. But you get the idea. And it is really, really nice and relaxing. Do you know what? I would just recommend covering a dummy and just going for it, because it's lovely. And it also means if you do it on a dummy, you've got something to show people as well. You can say, look, we can draw anything on your cake. Let's just do another flower to fill the gap. And a few hearts. Who's that? Sam. She needs the aubergine. Do you know what? The aubergine colour is lovely. I really like it. There we go. I've filled up my board. You can do some little stars as well if you're happy doing freehand stars. Oh, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You can put little stars in there as well. And even little, you know, little circles that you can just colour in, just a little dot of colour. I'm quite nervous putting my hand down, so what I'm doing is just resting my hand on my other hand. There we go. Right, so let's start colouring in. So somebody was saying about, thank you Gisella, great precision. Fractal colours. Kerry is asking if you can make your pen scented. Let's see what they say. If you don't ask, you don't ask. Kira, have another guess. That's all I'm going to say. Helen, another guess. Let's see. Kate's saying, great tip, I've often tried to write on the paste and it's been too soft. Yes, if you write on the paste and it is too soft, you will just end up digging your pen in like I did here on the K of the cake. And you'll just get frustrated because it just won't look as precise as you want it to. So it's a really good idea just to let it dry out. Even if you ice it the night before and just leave it overnight, just so it can dry out nicely, and then you can colour it all in. Right, so let's get cracking. So if you were, for example, to colour in, just to use it as a colouring in pen and colour in, you get quite a bright, bold colour. You see I'm resting on my hand again. You get quite a bright, bold colour, which is nice if you want it to be bright and bold. That's very nice, but this is where the magic happens. If you get some water on your brush, you can actually use it as a watercolour paint, which I think is quite clever. So you can actually make that a bit ombre. So I've got that darker at the ends where I actually use the pen to colour in, and then I've just dragged the colour round like that. You see, so it gives you quite a nice effect. So I'll do that again. So I'll put the colour down at the ends. This is the aubergine. It's a really lovely dark purple colour. So I've just, if you can just see that, look, I've just put a little bit of the purple down in the ends, or the aubergine down in the ends. I'll use the purple one next. Put some water on my brush and then just drag. There's a drip, about to drip. We don't want drips on our cakes because drips make little holes, which is just not good. And then look, you can just drag that colour up. So it's really nice. So you don't have to have the bright bold colours. You can make it more pastel-y like that. Can you see how lovely this would be just to spend an afternoon just colouring in? It's just lovely. So I'm going to use this is the lilac now. So we'll just put some lilac in the ends. There we go. Has this made anybody want to have a go? You're going to have to win your pens. There you go. See, Kira's with me. She thinks it would be really cool as well. And Gisela, thank you. She says the design's really good. Feel free to copy. Absolutely no problem with that at all. It's just really easy shapes. And it just looks really nice. It would actually be really nice as well if you just did the board and then put the cake on top as well. See that nice colour. Let's see what goes, what colour am I going to put next? Let's put the nice turquoise colour. That's very bright. See, if you just had that on its own, that's very bright. Gorgeous, gorgeous colour. But we will make that a bit lighter. It's really, oh, I keep nudging that with my, I am getting a new mount for my phone, so I will stop headbanging it. But it's just really good to have the overhead view. It just makes things much easier to see. But as you can see from looking at my face, it's right in my face. There we go. I just want to show you as well something else you can do. So let me just show you. So I'm going to do this here, and I'm actually going to do the top. I'm going to start with green at the top. So I'm not actually going to colour the full shapes in. I'm just putting a bit of colour in those shapes. It's like putting your paint down. Just a little bit of colour in those and a bit of colour in here. And then I'm actually going to put the turquoise at the other end. So I'm going to put more colour in the bottom, a bit of colour in these. There we go. Right, I do have a little drop of water there, so look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry my brush off with my fingers. I'm just going to use my brush to soak up that water. If you've got a piece of kitchen towel, you can dry your brush on that. There we go, so that's just soaking up the water just to stop it in its tracks, otherwise it will eat a little hole in my icing. So that's the top tip. You don't want any water to fall on here. Right, so I've wet my brush. And I've headbutted it again. Wet my brush, and I'm just going to see that that's where the water's coming off my brush. So colour in this end. Okay, a bit more water. And it's picked up some of the black there as well. Let's get a bit more of the green. And then what you can do is you can actually blend the colours in together. So I'm pulling that turquoise up and into the green, and then pulling the green down, and then those colours blend nicely together in like a little ombre effect, which is quite nice. If I pick that up so you can see. There we go. And I have a vodka tonic as well, says Mary. Do you know what? I think it's a little bit early for vodka tonic still, but that would be quite nice. Right, let's do one more. Let's maybe do the echinacea type flower. So we're going to have pink petals on the outside. So I'm just putting a little bit of the pink in. And colouring in. I hope you've all got a nice cup of tea or something, a nice drink. So you're sitting there and just feeling relaxed by osmosis. I hope the relaxation is coming through the screen to you. Put a bit of brown in there. Can you hear the rain on my Velux windows? It was summer, wasn't it? It was summer for about 5 minutes. And now we just have rain. Okay, let's put that in there. Colour in some green. So many guesses coming through for the competition. It's going to keep me busy, isn't it? I will, as soon as I've finished, I will go through them. And I will give everyone a number and put them into my random number generator, which will be good. So they've got a little spot there. I'm just going to colour that one in. There we go. And you can do, I'm just going to show you what happens if you, there's lots of rainbows around at the moment, aren't there? So we'll just do, I keep saying do one more, we'll just colour it in completely. So it's not going to be quite in keeping with everything else with the nice pastel colours. But I'll just show you how vibrant colours can be. Lots of guesses coming in. Hi Sue, nice to see you. Just pop my head up and there you were. Red, orange. I'm actually loving all the rainbows that are around at the moment. Such a good symbol of hope, but it's also so happy. Looking at a rainbow is happy, isn't it? This is the less well known rainbow daisy. I'm never really sure which is indigo and which is violet. I just always said dark purple, light purple. So I'm hoping I got these colours right. There we go. And we'll add in Lexita doesn't see the white. You mean you don't see the white pen? There's the white pen. The white pen's really great for if you make lots of figures, or even if you just make one figure. It's really great just for putting the little flashes in the eyes, just to bring your figures to life. I saw a really, really nice rainbow the other day. It was one for the Black Lives Matter, and it was all the rainbow colours, and then it had black, brown and pink in it, so that's what I'm going to do with this one. And the pink sits quite nicely next to the red as well. There we go, so that's the colours that haven't been blended at all, so that's how really nice and vibrant you can get the colours as well, which is really, really pretty. So I'm just going to sit here now all afternoon and I'm just going to be colouring in. So I'm going to be really, really nice and relaxed later. The red one is really bright. Yeah, the red is really bright, isn't it? That's what Dawn was saying. Okay, right. So if anybody still wants to enter the competition, I will say it one more time. The competition is to win 5 of these gorgeous pens for yourself, and you can choose your colours. So you can choose those beautiful colours as you've seen here. Really lovely. Rose is really lovely. You've seen that. That's a really nice bright rose, but you can also paint it to make it lighter. There's eggplant and turquoise and leaf green and lilac and sky blue and royal blue and black and brown and white. Really lovely. Yeah, it's really, really lovely idea for a kid's cake. Kate just said, really nice. You can even get the kids, you can even roll out little plaques of icing and let the kids do a design, and then you can stick those all round the outside of the cake as well, which is really lovely. So the competition, you need to tell me before I finish, and I'm just about to finish, before I finish, how many colours there are in the range. If I just hold them like that. How many colours are there in the range? And then I will put all of the names into a hat, and one of you will be winning 2.5 kilos of couture. Now I have covered with 2.5 kilos of couture an 8-inch, a 6-inch and a 4-inch cake, just from 2.5 kilos. You can roll it out nice and thin, and you can get your covering on. So you will win 2.5 kilos of couture, and you will win 5 of these pens of your choice. So have a go at doing the colouring and the painting, and let me see your creations. It's always really nice to see them. Either pop over to my Facebook page, which is Angel's Kitchen, and show me them there, or stick them on the Cake Stuff page. Be really, really lovely to see some completed cakes. So even the one I did for the photograph, that one didn't get finished either. It'd be really nice to see one that is completely covered in the drawing and the colouring. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's been really lovely being with you this afternoon. I am going to, my cake studio is away from my house, so I'm going to get very wet going back to my house. I might just have to hang out here a little bit longer and do some colouring in. But it's been lovely to see you. Thank you very much, Cameron. I've just relaxed them all at Cake Stuff HQ as well, which is good to hear. Now I will be back in a couple of weeks with another tutorial. Suzanne Esper will be here next week. You also have lovely Danny from Blue Door Bakery next week as well, so there's lots to look forward to, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye bye.